I'd like to welcome everybody to the October 24th special meeting of the Wayne City Council. If I can, everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Mayor Racy,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Porter,
Here.
Councilman Miller,
Present.
Councilman Webster,
Here.
Councilman Dowd,
Here.
Councilwoman Skiff,
Here.
Councilman Wagner.
Here.
A quorum is present. First item is approve agenda.
Move to approve.
Support. Any questions? City Manager, do you have anything you wanted to say on this? You're fine? Good, yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Number 2, general items. 2A is approval of letter of understanding with the Wayne Fire Department to switch insurance carriers from Priority Health to Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Move to approve.
Support.
City Manager.
Sure. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for attending the special session, and I really apologize that we had to do this at this point and not have an opportunity to do it on the 5th of November during our regular meeting. Plant Moran, the Benefit Advisors Group, you've all met Ed Murphy and his team at one point or another. Each year, they go out and to the market and around the end of July, August timeframe, and we try to find the best possible deal for our active employees. And to my surprise, it was interesting that Blue Cross Blue Shield actually came back with better rates, better coverage, and better pricing. And I believe Ed said almost 12% less. And so obviously, we really don't have a choice other than to go with this insurance because of the fact that the cost savings to the employees is tremendous. As you'll recall, back in 2016, January 1, 2016, we had switched to Priority Health, the self-insured plan. And the reason we had done that is because the city was about $500,000 short, and we had to find an exit plan out of that insurance. So we had to move to self-insured, and then we were not able to go back without being penalized to Blue Cross Blue Shield for at least a minimum of 3 years. So while we've been shopping the market, this is probably this is the best rate we've had in some time. And I know that the employees are going to probably be very, very excited to see that they're back on the Blue Cross Blue Shield, and it's going to be fully insured instead of self-insured. If you have any questions, certainly let me know. But again, the reason we're here tonight is because we have passed all of our contracts, labor contracts, except for the fire department. We're still working on a tentative agreement. However, because Blue Cross Blue Shield took some time to get back to the Plant Moran Benefit Group, unfortunately, we got them back a week ago last Thursday, and we have until the 28th to agree to these terms and to these rates. And so they kind of put us in a bit of a jam, but because we're not able to get a tentative agreement with the firefighters, it has to be all or none. So we need the firefighters to at least agree that they would agree to a letter of agreement, a letter of understanding, that they would move into the direction of agreeing to this insurance. We do not have to go back to all of our labor unions because we did not specify a specific company in the contracts. We just specified that we would stick to 4 plans, and that is why we are not having to revisit all of the contracts again. So, does anybody have any questions? I have a memo in front of you that has a lot of good information. It's pretty self-explanatory, but I'm happy to answer questions. If there are any, Mayor?
Through the chair, to the city manager. You indicated that the other contracts that have already been ratified, we're not going to revisit them or change them. So they are going to not benefit from the same type of insurance that the fire department union would be able to.
No, that is not correct. That is not what I stated. What I stated is that all of the other groups have already passed, so they will receive this insurance. The only issue is that we do not have an agreement with fire, so we had to parcel this out basically, because if fire had already had an agreement in place, we wouldn't be here tonight because all of the unions would have agreed to the fact that we were going to go with an insurance that included 4 plans. We just didn't specify it was Priority Health, Blue Cross Blue Shield, or whatever. All active employees will go under this Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Very good,
coverage.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else?
Mary C. So what is the penalty for us to go back into Blue Cross Blue Shield?
We're past that point.
Okay, so we're past the 3 years?
Yes.
Okay.
Through the chair, to the city manager, how will this affect the retirees' health care?
They're not on our healthcare system. They don't receive healthcare, they receive a stipend.
As I recall, a statement on the bottom of the initial paper that we received, it did state requiring about that the city would be, had the option of changing the health care for the retirees. I think it was the last statement. That's what I didn't quite understand.
The retirees that retire in the contract, that's if they retire under the agreement. So that would be, in this instance, it would be anybody in the fire department currently that retires in the next 3 years.
So another question I do have is that we were here tonight to approve in changing healthcare providers, but also we're now approving some of the new language that would be brought to the fire department local for their membership to vote on as well?
No.
Because some of the lined out items that were previously in there are now being eliminated and replaced with new language?
That would, well, that's correct in some aspect.
Okay.
Because of the fact that we're changing insurance, we have Priority Health listed in here, so we had to cross out Priority Health. We had to cross out prescription coverage because that's not the prescription coverage that we're going to be using anymore. If you look at page 2, they have, the fire department actually put exactly what a certain amount of information that they wanted in here that is directly from the new quote.
Another one, I must say, is that now there's an increase that before that the insurance would pay out on any doctor visits, they would have to pass that $500 threshold.
Yes. And the reason that we went from a 0 to a 500 is because we were asked by another union to look at options, because some of the members wanted more money in their paycheck and weren't using their insurance as much. So we were asked by actually the Patrol Officers Association, and this is where this all stemmed from, adding the 4 plans, and adding that $500 deductible. The only way that we could get the savings was to add that to this. If we stuck to a 0, our rates would have been higher.
I understand it. I'm under the same plan.
Yeah, okay, well, good.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield have been providing for the United Food and Commercial Workers for the last 5 years, and it's been pretty well accepted.
Good,
It's a new standard.
great. I'm glad you do understand that, because it's an excellent plan. It was a good move, and I want to thank the patrol officers for pushing on this because of the fact that we were able to make it try to, our best to, not appease, but just basically get as close as we could to what everybody was
It
trying to
allows more
accomplish.
flexibility.
Absolutely. That's a better way to put it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Public comments for matters not on the agenda. Pursuant to the Michigan Open Meetings Act and the enacted procedures and rules of City Council, now is the time for public comment. Any questions will not be answered this evening, but the appropriate person will make their best effort to respond by the next council meeting or as soon as possible, provided you state or leave your contact information with the city clerk. Approach the podium and state your name. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Okay, go ahead and move the agenda.
Comments from members of the City Council.
Is there any council members that want to speak tonight? Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.